Hey everybody, Clark from Church Web Help. Good to see you again. Today I want to talk to you about speed. Speed is a huge deal online today, and you can actually get graded. I don't know if you can see our grade here, but you get graded on your speed for your website. And churches that have slow websites may never even get looked at. Google may push them down on the rankings. They may face issues on mobile phones and all kinds of things. So website speed is a huge deal right now for websites, for web building, and it's no different for churches. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to improve the speed on your website so you can get an A grade. Let's hop to it. All right, thank you for joining me. Today we're talking about speed, website speed. How exciting is that? I don't know if you're excited or not, but this is another thing that may surprise you if you don't spend a lot of time with websites. Speed is a huge deal. Performance is a huge deal. And again, as you saw with cybersecurity, a lot of it roots back to vulnerabilities, search traffic, just getting traffic in general, being up to snuff, having the website basically compliant with the way things are now. The way that is with cybersecurity, it's the same way with speed. Google has mandated that websites be very fast on mobile phones and on computers so that they will then rank them higher and show them more and so on and so forth. And the implications for that could be that if your website is really slow, it may not show. So someone in Blacksburg, Virginia wants to go to a little country church and they search up so-and-so denomination church, and your website doesn't show. It could be even, as I understand it, that you try to buy an ad to show your website, and someone like Google could say your website's too slow, we're going to charge you more money. So whether it's showing up, whether it's being charged more money, whether it's just the user experience, which is all kind of statistics and data that shows that users will be more likely to visit and stay on a website that's real fast, and that they're very impatient. Just think of yourself when you're out and about. Do you have time to wait on and on and on for a website? I don't. If it takes more than a few seconds, I typically click off, and most people do. So we built our website fast. We build websites for other people very fast. And we're using a tool here, GT Metrics, and it's showing we've got an A, which we had to work to get, but we built it real fast. And we're going to go into some of the ways that we've done that. Our clients, we try to make sure they're in the A range as well. But even there, it's some pitfalls. Google uses a tool called Page Speed Insights, and we barely reach an A if we're lucky there for the desktop version. But what happens when you go to mobile? Ooh, 37, that's not good. Hey, it's really hard on the mobile side to make a really fast website. So we've got our work cut out for us there, which we'll work on. But still, it's not easy to get a fast website. If you were to just take a website, and this is free, you can go to GT Metrics and you could enter in your church website address, see what you get, or your ministry website. I think on average, it'd be like a C. Maybe a D, maybe a B, but on average, maybe a C if you don't do anything. And that's, there's a lot of reasons why. It could be servers, could be a really slow hosting company, and a bunch of other reasons. Most notably the stuff that you put on there, as well, again, as the hosting, as well as maybe JavaScript or the way that websites were built in the past, where they were kind of clunky and heavy and lots of different scripts or things happening to add, say, an animation or to add some neat little whiz-bang feature that people may not even care much about, that slow the website down, and then the website gets a low score. So the way to get a high score, even with mobile, with Google, is to look at what they're talking about here. Speed index, time to interactive, blocking time. They're all basically looking at how quick is your site loading and how easy is it to navigate. And if you wonder, hey, how important is it to have a fast website? It's very important. SEO Roundtable is a very famous blog here. Search Engine Roundtable, I should say. I said SEO. Search Engine Roundtable. And these guys have been around forever. And they were quantifying some of the issues as Google released their latest update, and many people were experiencing wild traffic increases or decreases based upon the speed of their site. So Google is doing this, and it's making a big impact. And to have a great church website, you want to have a fast website. Amen. That's just kind of how it is. And like the last video I showed with security, you can do a lot of this cheap or free. You don't have to have a lot of money to make a fast website. And so we'll dive in here to our website, Church Web Help. This is the iteration we have now. It may change by the time you get to it. But starting with a couple things. Number one, of course, we have our SSL certificate, which from my understanding actually makes a difference to have HTTPS. Makes it a little bit faster from my understanding. So we have our certificate. We have our website built very clean. So there's not a whole lot of animations. There's not a ton of heavy images. There's a very simple menu, very simple structure. The images that we do have, that we do use, are actually compressed, and we make sure that they're compressed so they're real light. And it's just very simple, and that's intentional. It's also good for a user experience to be simple. Also, you'll notice nothing's really moving around on the website. I'll scroll, but you don't have a lot of moving objects, and apparently that can also hurt site speed when you have stuff moving around. Google wants it to kind of load and be there. Another thing we have is lazy loading, so things don't quite load up. I'll see if I can refresh the site, see if this works. Things don't quite load up until you get there. So you see a black screen. I don't know if you saw that. That's a lazy load. And what that means is that it's not counted in the initial assessment of how fast the site is. And so we added lazy loading to our video, which really helped a lot. We used to have live chat on here. We took that off, and that actually bumped us up a whole letter grade by just getting rid of this live chat application that was like a script that was weighing it down. And so we did those things, but we kept the core of the site simple, but you can still see you've got featured work. We're showing what we're doing. You can visit websites. We've got plenty of little buttons here. We've got our expertise with our bullet points. We've got images here. They look fine. They're compressed, but they don't look that compressed. They look high resolution to us. We've got our love offering section. So we've got payment information here. We've got a little form thing running in the background to allow that to happen. Links out. And then, of course, even our about page, or let's see. Get Web Help. That's right. Our contact page, or Get Web Help. That fires up real quick, and very similar, a little contact form and some information. It's just simple. It's simple, and you can navigate to different parts of the site, but there's not a whole lot of bells and whistles. And I think that's kind of the takeaway, is instead of thinking of everything you could put on a church website, and I've seen some of these software that they look great. I would like to use it one day if I had a massive congregation. But sometimes if you have a small congregation, or you just have a simple need, or all your congregation, they don't really spend a lot of time on websites. Maybe they're on social media or YouTube or whatever. Then just match it, mirror that with simplicity in the site itself. And when you do that, you're creating an experience that's good for them. And you're also creating something that's acceptable in Google, that will rank very well as Google continues to put a priority on these factors, and that will be easy to load, not just on a computer, but more importantly on a cell phone, because that truly is where things are going. People are looking at, how does it look on a cell phone? We'll have a whole video on being mobile first at another time. But to give you an idea of how important this is, number one, the site's got to be secure. That's why we start our series on website fundamentals with security. But number two, it's got to be fast. It used to be, it would be nice if it's fast. It used to be, we don't want to, have too much stuff going on to confuse people, right? But now it actually really needs to be fast to be relevant. And so what we do at Church Web Help, and this is, I believe, again, even if you don't use our services and you go somewhere else, keep this in mind. What we do is we start with, is the server that we're using fast? And we use an extremely fast server that we know is very fast. Then the next step we take is the website template, the tool that we're building with, is that built for speed? And we make sure that thing is extremely fast as well. And then, so we've got a fast server. We have a fast kind of base template, and people may hear template and think, I was just building websites out of templates. Everybody builds websites out of templates, I believe, these days. Most everybody. I've done it the other way. It's sometimes not even as cohesive if you don't use a template, because a template kind of gives you the structure that people are used to following. But you have the base server speed fast, you have the template fast, and then you really, really try hard not to overcomplicate what's going on the website. And whenever possible, you link off of the website. So what we do here, we have one video. It's not hosted on our server. It's hosted on YouTube. And beyond being hosted on YouTube, it's not even set to load until you get there. And then once you click it, then it'll load. So I'll click it there. Now it'll load, but it doesn't load in advance. Whenever possible, we link off of the website. We could have taken a PDF or some other, information or some cool embed way of adding these sites to our website. But no, we link off. You want to check out these podcasts where I interview these mission workers to help show a skill set or to learn about these missions and so on. You have to go to a different domain, a different URL. It's hosted somewhere else. In a way, it's not our problem when it comes to site speed, and that's really good. In fact, almost everything is linked off here. And so, and maybe I oversimplified the site. I understand it's a very bare bones type of thing, but everything is pretty much linked off except the essentials. Again, we could have embedded a ton of YouTube videos. Just hit the YouTube link and go to YouTube itself. You want to get involved in social media, you want to like us on Facebook, we'd appreciate it. Just go to Facebook, you click that, it takes you there. And so by pushing things off of the website, we make it much faster. And so you have a fast server, you have a very lean and mean template that's proven to be very fast. You have very little that you're hosting on the site if you can help it, and you have it be very direct. And by doing these things, then it becomes easier, not just to build, but then when you start getting into the stuff, and I promise you, I don't promise, I believe, Lord knows, but I believe if you build a fast website, you're going to have this mobile issue too. I've talked to people that do this, I guess, for a living, and they've said even a 55 score for mobile is quite good. I'm sure someone out there has got 100, but they said aiming for 55 is good. But look, when you're building a mobile site, and it's real complex, so desktop is good, and GT metrics is good, and now you're having to try to get mobile fast. Look, if you're doing that, okay, well, how many elements are you going to have to shift around, right? Well, when you built a website that was all about speed to begin with and simplicity to begin with, you just have less to shuffle around. And so as you make tweaks on the mobile end, it's not as difficult because you don't have a whole lot that you're trying to present to begin with. And again, if you follow my theory, when I was teaching years ago, I was teaching and I had a business, and my students said, "Oh, you need a website for that." And I kind of laughed and thought to myself, well, who's spending a lot of time on websites? Now, if you had a pizza parlor, you need a website. I believe if you have a church, it's great to have a website so people can find you and get information about you. But truly where people spend most time today, I believe, is on social media, on YouTube, on other video networks, on these kind of third-party apps and stuff, not so much on the site. And so that's just my opinion, but I believe it's true. And then if you think about that in the terms of page speed and site speed, then you can start using these things. You want to have a podcast, you can host it somewhere else. And then, of course, you can actually, you could embed a podcast player. It probably wouldn't be too bad. One of our sites, we have that. We have a SoundCloud embed on there. I don't think it's too bad for us. But just keep this in mind that page speed is essential, that there are free tools out there that you can check page speed, and that keeping this idea of simplicity will help you to develop a website that serves your congregation the best and serves visitors the best. I met a guy in our old church that came in and he was actually our insurance agent, and he came in, we're talking to him, and he said he had done all different kinds of advertising and different ways to get people to come to his insurance agency. And he very much catered to a local area like a local church might. And he said the number one thing, the best form of advertising for him was a billboard, a printed up billboard. He said that was the number one driver for him. And I think in small towns, if you're a rural church, or maybe even in cities, sometimes what we think is good, like having a really robust website, it might be overkill or might just create problems where we thought this great website full of our entire calendar of our fellowship activities, of all these photo albums, of all these things, we thought this would serve well, but then you get caught up with the speed, you get caught up with security, you get caught up with updating all of these things and making sure all these little pieces are working. Sometimes simplicity is best. Last thing I'll say before we wrap up with this site speed video is that it's dynamic, right? Site speed is dynamic and it changes with the server. So I just hit retest. It could, anything could change each time you run a test. And that's with Google PageSpeed Insights or GTmetrix or whatever. You often will get pretty wide range of results. And so what you can do if you're real serious about getting a very fast website is start logging your results and then kind of taking a mean average or understanding that over the course of a certain time of day, it could be different. That's quite similar. But then, at night, I might run this test and there might be less stuff going on or whatever it is. And I get a high grade. And then in the morning, they say 10 a.m. in the morning, it may be a little bit slower. And so what we want to do is get a mean average. So don't get worked up about any one result, and realize all of this is tweakable and changeable, and realize this is right now current state of affairs. So what I'm telling you, you'll be ahead of, I think, a lot of people that are putting up a website. And if you are working with a developer or you have a tech team, just letting them watch this video, letting them dig in deeper. I know, again, not a total expert on these things, but I do spend a fair bit of time with it, just understanding it's there and then working to get a great website so that people go to your website and, Lord willing, hear the gospel. Amen. So I hope this is helpful. Not just hear the gospel, but be saved. Okay. I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.